വെബിനാറിലേക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം. കേരള ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഫോർ ഓണ്ടർപ്രണർഷിപ്പ് ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് ഓഫ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രീസ് ആൻഡ് കൊമേഴ്സിന്റെ കീഴിൽ പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കേരള സർക്കാർ സ്ഥാപനമാണ്. സംരംഭവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് വിവിധ ട്രെയിനിങ് പ്രോഗ്രാമുകളാണ് കീഴിൽ നടത്തി വരുന്നത്. സംരംഭവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട നിരവധി ട്രെയിനിങ് പ്രോഗ്രാമുകളാണ് കീഴിൽ നടത്തി വരുന്നത്. അതിൽ കൂടുതലും സംരംഭം തുടങ്ങാൻ പോകുന്ന ആൾക്കാർ, അപ്പൊ നമ്മളത് 3 കാറ്റഗറൈസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ പ്രോഗ്രാം ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സംരംഭം തുടങ്ങാൻ പോകുന്നവർ, സംരംഭം തുടങ്ങി കഴിഞ്ഞവർ, പിന്നെ അത് സ്കെയിലപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, അങ്ങനെ 3 കാറ്റഗറൈസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഒരുപാട് ട്രെയിനിങ് പ്രോഗ്രാംസുകൾ നമ്മളിവിടെ കീഴിൽ നടത്തി വരുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ ഈ വെബിനാറിൽ നമ്മളെ കുറച്ച് പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ് നമ്മുടെ കീഴിന്റെ ട്രെയിനിങ് പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്തവരുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാത്തവർക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഞാൻ ഇൻഫോർമേഷൻസ് പറയുന്നത്. അപ്പം നമ്മുടെ ട്രെയിനിങ് പ്രോഗ്രാംസുകൾ ഇപ്പം ഓണ്ടർപ്രണർഷിപ്പ് റിലേറ്റഡ് ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് ആണ് കൂടുതലും കീഴിൽ നടന്നു വരുന്നത്. ഇതുകൂടാതെ കപ്പാസിറ്റി ബിൽഡിംഗ് പ്രോഗ്രാം, സ്കിൽ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് പ്രോഗ്രാം, അതർ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് പ്രോഗ്രാംസും, പിന്നെ ഇതേപോലത്തുള്ള വെബിനാറുകൾ, വർക്ക്ഷോപ്സുകൾ എല്ലാ മാസവും നമ്മൾ കീഴിൽ നടത്തി വരാറുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ പുതിയ ഒരു സംരംഭ തലമുറയെ വാർത്തെടുക്കുക എന്ന ലക്ഷ്യത്തോടു കൂടിയാണ് കീഴിൽ ഓരോ പ്രോഗ്രാമുകൾ നമ്മൾ ക്രമീകരിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ എല്ലാ മാസവും നമുക്ക് ഒരു മിനിമം 2 മുതൽ 4-5 പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് വരെ കീഴിൽ നടത്തി വരുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ കീഴിന്റെ വെബ്സൈറ്റായ www.kied.info ഞാൻ ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ ഇടാം. നമ്മളെ കീഴിന്റെ വെബ്സൈറ്റ് സന്ദർശിച്ചാൽ കീഴ് നടത്തുന്ന വിവിധ ട്രെയിനിങ് പ്രോഗ്രാംസുകൾ ഏതൊക്കെയാണ് എന്നുള്ളത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കാണാൻ കഴിയും. അതിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് താല്പര്യമുള്ള പ്രോഗ്രാമുകൾ ഏതൊക്കെയാണ്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ആ പ്രോഗ്രാം അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ താല്പര്യം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്കത് ഓൺലൈനായിട്ട് തന്നെ നിങ്ങൾക്കത് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാവുന്നതാണ്. ഓൺലൈനായിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അപ്ലൈ ആവുന്നതാണ്. അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം നമ്മൾ ഇവിടുന്ന് സെലക്ഷൻ പ്രോസസ് ഉണ്ട്. നമ്മൾ സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം നിങ്ങൾ ഓരോരുത്തരെ നമ്മളത് കോൺടാക്ട് ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം നമ്മുടെ കീഴിന്റെ ഒരു പ്രത്യേകത എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, നമ്മൾ ഒരു ട്രെയിനിങ് പ്രോഗ്രാം കഴിഞ്ഞു, സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ഒക്കെ നൽകി നിങ്ങളെങ്ങനെ വെറുതെ വിടുന്നതല്ല. നമ്മളൊരു ഫോളോ അപ്പ് ഉണ്ടാവും. നിങ്ങൾ സംരംഭം തുടങ്ങിയോ, നിങ്ങൾ നിലവിലെ സ്റ്റാറ്റസ് എന്താ തുടങ്ങിയ എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും നമ്മൾ ഇവിടുന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മറ്റ് സപ്പോർട്ടുകളും എല്ലാം ഞങ്ങളുടെ സൈഡിൽ നിന്നാണ് അത് ചെയ്തു തരും. അപ്പൊ കീഴിന്റെ വെബ്സൈറ്റ് ഞാൻ ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ നൽകാം. അപ്പൊ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഏതെങ്കിലും പ്രോഗ്രാമുകൾ അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യാൻ താല്പര്യം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അതിൽ അപ്ലൈ ആവാം. അപ്പൊ എല്ലാ മാസവും നമ്മളൊരു വെബിനാർ സീരീസ് ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് ചെയ്യാറുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അപ്പം അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് നടത്തുന്ന ഒരു വെബിനാറാണ് MSME കമ്പനീസുകൾ നാഷണൽ സ്റ്റോക്ക് എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച്. എല്ലാവരും കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. NSE, BSE, നാഷണൽ സ്റ്റോക്ക് എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച്, ബോംബെ സ്റ്റോക്ക് എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച്, BSE. അതുപോലെ നാഷണൽ സ്റ്റോക്ക് എക്സ്ചേഞ്ചിൽ എങ്ങനെ ഒരു SME അല്ലെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒരു MSME നമുക്ക് ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാം എന്നതിനെ പറ്റിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സെഷനാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇന്നത്തെ സെഷൻ നമുക്ക് കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യുന്നത് ശ്രീ ഗൗരി ശങ്കർ ബോഡപ്പള്ളി സാറാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം വൈസ് പ്രസിഡന്റ് ആൻഡ് റീജിയണൽ ഹെഡ് ഓഫ് ദ ബിസിനസ് ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് സൗത്ത് നാഷണൽ സ്റ്റോക്ക് എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ ആണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഏകദേശം ഈ ഒരു ഇന്ത്യ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ മാർക്കറ്റിൽ ഏകദേശം അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഒരു 17 years ഓഫ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. നാഷണൽ സ്റ്റോക്ക് എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ ലിമിറ്റഡിലെ ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ നിലവിലത്തെ വൈസ് പ്രസിഡന്റും റീജിയണൽ സൗത്ത് ബിസിനസ് ഹെഡും ആണ്. സോ ഐ വെൽക്കം ശ്രീ ഗൗരി സാർ ടു ടേക്ക് ദിസ് സെഷൻ. അപ്പം ടുഡേസ് സെഷൻ വിൽ ബി ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ്. സോ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഡൗട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ ചോദിക്കാം. ആൻഡ് യു ക്യാൻ ആൾസോ ആസ്ക് directly to Gauri Shankar sir after the session. The 1 hour session will be after the 1 hour you can ask the questions, Q&A. The last 15 minutes is for Q&A. And Gauri sir, myself Rahul, I am the assistant manager of Kied, and welcome sir, welcome for the session.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction and also setting up the context for today's session. So for taking up any questions, I have my colleague Anandu Shaji, who joined from Kochi. He handles our Kochi office, so he can answer any queries if at all it comes in Malayalam. So you have the flexibility to ask questions either in Malayalam or English. I hope that solves the problem. So to begin with, Shri Sharatraj, CEO and Executive Director, Kerala Institute for Entrepreneurship Development, other dignitaries and members of Kied, entrepreneurs from the state. It gives me immense pleasure to be here on this webinar, presenting on listing of small and medium enterprises on NSE Emerge platform to this August gathering. And we would like to thank Kied, the management team at Kied, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to interact with you all. To begin my presentation, let me share my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Are you able to see the slides in slideshow mode?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. So before we get into the actual topic for today's discussion, a look at NSE, who we are. National Stock Exchange was incorporated in the year 1994 and has emerged as market leader from the first year of its operations to become the largest stock exchange in India. And globally also, we stand tall. We are the world's largest derivatives exchange for the last 3 consecutive years. We are the largest in currency derivatives segment. We are the largest in index options. And we are the 4th largest in cash market segment. That are the global standings, and we operate across all asset classes which are required for an investor, for an individual in financial markets and capital markets. So the asset classes that we offer we can be segmented into capital markets, wherein we have all the equities, the stocks that you hear about every day, they are listed. Then we have debt instruments, exchange traded funds, sovereign gold bonds, then non-competitive bidding, emerge platform, all comes under capital market segment. We offer these, so it completes the entire spectrum of capital market products for the investors. On the equity derivatives, underlying would be equity market here, capital market. On them, there are derivatives which we offer, which are again into stock derivatives and index derivatives. Again, in stock derivatives, we have stock futures, stock options, and index derivatives, index futures, index options. We also offer derivative instruments on currency as well as commodity derivatives. This also includes interest rate derivatives for hedging somebody's risk on or exposure on that particular products. And other markets that we offer, other products that we offer include the securities lending and borrowing, the primary market, which is IPO platform for capital, for corporates to raise capital. And we also provide a platform for distribution of mutual funds. What role that we play in the market in India? We are an institution of market importance. It's one of the important MIs in the entire spectrum of Indian capital markets. And we provide a platform to the corporates, for the corporate India to raise capital. So that is our first role, and one of the important roles that we play. We provide platform for corporate India to raise capital from public. We provide platform to investors to trade in securities. So all those investors who would have participated in the IPOs or who missed participating in IPOs can take part into ownership of the companies, or can exit their ownership, or they can sell their shares in the secondary market. We provide a platform for investors. That is a secondary market. We also empower, that is one more important role that we play, that we empower investors through organizing, conducting a lot of awareness programs, events like this on the exchange platforms, avenues. So we strongly believe at NSE that for the market development, investors need to be very informed and need to have complete knowledge, for which we strive. And the growth and overall development of the market by being a catalyst for all the changes, by having strategic alliances, giving inputs to the regulators, and implementing all the guidelines. Now, moving on to the main topic for this discussion, which is on NSE Emerge. See, this slide is actually a self-explanatory. We need not highlight the role. I mean, need not highlight the role that they really play in the Indian economy. They contribute largely to all the economic indicators which are important. Small and medium enterprises are considered to be the backbone of the nation's economy, particularly developing nations like India. You name any factor which indicates the performance of the economy, jobs, GDP, exports. You can see the numbers that they contribute. In fact, they contribute significantly to the employment in India. And we, as an exchange, we have already seen which are the products that are provided on NSE platform. This is specific to SMEs. We have various platforms which serve different purposes for small and medium enterprises. First one to start with is on the fundraising platform. I think it is again needless to highlight the significance of fund for any corporate. So we provide fundraising platforms to SMEs. The one is which addresses the issue of working capital requirements or receivables discounting. That's called RXAL Trades platform. So this is a JV collaboration along with SIDBI, NSE, that we started RXAL Trades platform. This platform is an online platform which helps the SMEs as sellers to discount their bills or their receivables and invoices. So it's an online transparent mechanism where you will have MSMEs as sellers, the buyers from MSMEs as participants, and also the banks who would discount these bills at a competitive prices. So the entire ecosystem is again being created, which addresses predominantly the working capital and short-term capital requirements. Then we have long-term fundraising platform, which is NSE Emerge, which we will be discussing in depth today in the next 50 minutes or so. I'm skipping this point over here as we will be spending much of our time on this. Then we have investment platforms. These are available for irrespective of the size of any corporate, even in individuals, where treasuries of corporates or any surplus amounts or investments can be made. These are the platforms. IPO, people can subscribe in primary markets. They can take part in the IPO issuance process. There's something called a sovereign gold bond, which is considered to be one of the best instrument if somebody considers investing in gold as an investment, which provides 2.5% of extra interest from Government of India over and above the gold returns. These are issued by RBI again. Then there is a platform called NCB. It's non-competitive bidding. For the first time, the access to the NCB is being given to the retail investors here. So in NCB, you get access to government securities, treasury bills, state development loans. Then we have corporate bonds, where that is again one of the investment platforms that we provide. And of course, secondary market, where buying and selling of all the listed stocks would happen. Now, moving on to the risk management platforms that are available for small and medium enterprises. For hedging of risk of forex exposure, we have a platform called NSE Currency Derivatives. So all the corporates who have foreign currency risk, who are into imports and exports, or whose prices or inputs prices are dependent on the foreign commodity prices. For them, they can hedge their currency risk by the products which are the instruments which are available on this platform. Then we have hedging, platform for hedging your risk, which might arise out of the commodities. So we have NSE commodity derivatives segment, where products like gold, silver, copper are already available. Who investors or SMEs can hedge their risk on this. And we also have an interest rate derivatives or a NBF platform, where SMEs can hedge their interest rate risk on the loans, because as interest rates also keep fluctuating, these instruments in interest rate derivative segment provide hedging. Basically, you can protect the risk which can arise due to the fluctuations of interest rates through the instruments which are available in hedging and interest rate derivative segment. Now, moving on to the main topic, which is again on NSE Emerge platform on the fundraising avenue. We've already seen the significant role or the significance of SMEs in the economy. In spite of having such a high significance, SMEs face a lot of challenges in terms of fundraising for their growth requirements. SMEs have very limited sources of funding. The popular sources of funding, which is banks, they also come along with the limits on the amount that banks can fund a SME, and also the duration for which they can lend. So both in terms of the amount and tenure of supply have limitations. And I assume many of you would already be aware that at NSE we already have a platform for larger corporates, which is called as main board. So the larger corporates, they can do an IPO, can raise public equity and subsequently list on the exchange. That is called main board. We have more than 1,600 stocks right now listed on that space. However, it was very difficult for small and medium enterprises to meet the eligibility criteria of that platform, if at all they want to tap the public equity or raise funds from public in terms of issuance of shares. This was prior to 2012. This actually triggered this very need of the SMEs, triggered the creation of an additional alternative and efficient source of fund raising for SMEs, because of which NSE Emerge platform has come into the existence. The Prime Minister's task force in the year 2010 has recommended setting up of stock exchanges for small and medium enterprises. So the entire ecosystem was actually created to accommodate more and more small and medium enterprises to access stock exchange platforms, to raise funds through issuance of shares to the public. So subsequently, SEBI has laid down the regulations related to small and medium enterprises. And in the year 2012, NSE Emerge has started as we speak. It is a 11-year-old platform. This segment is regulated by the same regulator which also regulates the main board companies, SEBI, and this is offered as a separate segment on NSE. So that helps in getting the same infrastructure, same participants, same network of terminals to also gain access to NSE Emerge platform. So there is no additional infrastructure development that was really required. I mean, and also the existence network which trades the large cap companies or the main board companies is also being used here for small and medium enterprises. And we have more than 2 lakhs of terminals, the same trading member network, merchant bankers, which are also available on this platform. And as we speak, till date, we have more than 290 companies which got listed on this, companies to be precise, 296 companies which got listed on NSE Emerge platform. And collectively, the collective market cap of all those companies which are listed stands more than 55,000 crore, 56,000 crores. And the total capital that we raised, these companies, these 296 companies which could raise through IPO is 4,900 crores with an average issue size of 6.5 crores. The representation is across industries, as in case of the main board. It is not concentrated only to a particular industry. There are 21 sectors. There are companies, 296 companies belonging to 21 sectors have come and already utilized or availed the benefits that offered on this platform. And out of these 296 companies which got listed, 122 companies have already been migrated to the main board. We will understand this in further slides. What is this migration to the main board would really signify, how it is important, and how, what are the rules for migration to the main board. So now, having understood that there is a platform that is available that SMEs can tap the public equity, now let's understand when a company should look at coming on this exchange or tap the public equity, and what is the ideal time. So based on those stages of growth, we can classify small and medium enterprises into these 4 buckets. As into larger companies, the companies which are in growing phase, companies which are early stage, and companies which are in startup phase. So at the startup phase, you would have funds which are mainly contributed by promoter himself or his family members or friends. Then when he moves on to the early stage, that is when you would have some additional sources, such as there could be some government aided schemes, or there could be funding from the bank. If your company is showing signs of growth, then it might attract angel funding, angel network, VC funds, etc. Then when the company is on the highest bracket, that is on the large company bucket, then they can easily satisfy listing eligibility criteria, which is laid by the regulators, by the guidelines. So they can raise public equity and subsequently list. They would have access to almost all the sources of fundraising. However, the entities which are between the early stage and larger company, that is on the growing phase. So when they move from early stage to growing phase and they want capital or growth capital, that is where you would require more funds. But by then the popular source of funds, that is banking funds or bank loans, beyond a point, like we've already discussed, they may not be able to kind of extend extra credit lines. And majority of the cases, the assets of the owners, promoters have to be given as collaterals. And also there is a limit, or the time limit, or the tenure, which would have some restrictions on the banking funds or extending their lines, even if the company may be good. And if you're in the growing phase, it may also attract private equity as one more additional route. But private equity also comes along with its own caveats, though of course it supplies funds at that stage. But they may also want to have a say in the decision making and performance and so forth. So if any company which is in this growing phase, you can ask this question, are you at the early stage, or you are stuck at this phase where you want to grow further, but you're not able to grow just because you lack funds there. And that is the ideal time that you should be tapping this particular platform, and can consider listing on NSE Emerge by going to the public for equity funds. So I hope you got a fair understanding of the phase in which you should be looking at coming and listing on this exchange. If you're a large company and meet the eligibility criteria, you can very well go and list yourself on the main board platform, but you're above this early stage, not meeting the eligibility criteria of main board, and you're a growing company, you need growth capital, then certainly NSA Emerge is a platform that you must not miss. And having understood what stage that one should be looking at it, let's see who all can list on NSA Emerge. What are the criteria? The criteria is pretty simple, which is prescribed by SEBI. The post issue, once they float the issue, post issue, the paid up capital on the face value should not exceed 25 crores. So 10 to 25 crores, if it is the paid up capital is within the 10 to 25 crores, you are eligible for both SME and main board. You can access both the platforms. Now, while drafting the framework, they have lowered down, they've removed that minimum 10 crores to less than 10 crores also for SMEs. So even the corporates with less than 10 crores of paid up capital can also list on SME platform. Then other eligibility criteria, which is prescribed by the exchange, that the company should have at least 3 years of operational history or existence. And out of those 3 years, 2 years of positive cash accruals need to be there. That is the operational profits. And the corporate should have positive net worth. These are the only criteria. If you meet this criteria, you're most welcome to the NSA Emerge platform. You can raise funds from public, that your paid up capital not exceeding 25 crores on the face value, and 3 years of operational existence with positive net worth. These are the only simple criteria let down. Okay, when I said the post-issue paid up capital should not be more than 25 crores, does it mean that you cannot raise funds more than 25 crores? Answer is no, you can raise funds even 100 crores also. There are corporates who have raised to the extent of 100 crores. The average issue size itself has been at 16 crores, and there are corporates who have raised even 100 crores. If the company can command premium in the market, what 25 crores that we are talking about here is on the face value. If the company can command profit, it can raise even 50 crores, 70 crores, 100 crores, there's no limit there. So these are the eligibility criteria. Now moving on this points of what is the framework that is being provided here. Like in the beginning, I've mentioned that the framework has been exclusively created so that more and more SME corporates can access this platform, and we can be able to accommodate more and more SMEs onto this platform. So let's see what is the framework and what is the relaxations that have been kind of given here. So once the company decides to open the IPO on NSE Emerge, in the issue there has to be minimum 50 LRTs. 50 LRTs, which means there has to be at least 50 investors participating in the issue. Whereas in the main board, the limit is 1,000. So you need to have at least 1,000 investors participating on the main board platform. Whereas here it is just at 50 LRTs. Even if there are 50 investors that are there, it can go through. But the DRHP that need to be filed is in the same format of that of main board. It's a drafted hearing prospectus. Is one of the documents that a corporate who aspires to get listed, whether it is on the main board or SME Emerge platform, and both the platforms, the company would have to file a DRHP, and this DRHP is filed with the exchange for observations. So in case of main board, the DRHP is filed with SEBI. Here in case of Emerge platform, the DRHP is filed with the exchange. So the processing time that is involved in the entire process of listing would certainly be lower, relatively lower than the main board. And there is 100% underwriting in Emerge platform. So is a technical word that I've used here, underwriting. So underwriting is nothing but if a company decides to float an IPO, and in any case, if the issue is not fully subscribed by investors in the market, then for all that unsubscribed portion, there would be an underwriting. There would be an entity who would be underwriting, saying that if there is a undersubscription or no subscription, I would subscribe to the remaining part of the shares. So that is what is underwriting here, and it is 100% underwriting. So in no case, if any SME decides to go for an IPO, it can devolve. It means it can go fail. It will be subscribed. And as a rule, there has to be at least 25% of the equity capital that need to be offered. 25% of the company need to be offered to the public as a process of listing. And there is no grading requirement here. And there is one more differentiation and unique factor in this Emerge platform is there is a market making for 3 years, which means there are market players. There would be market players who would be providing quotes, buy as well as sell quotes on the secondary market. Once the company is done through with the IPO, it gets listed and it gets traded on the secondary market, that is on the cash market. And for any existing investor who wants to sell their shares, so there would be a counter sell quote that would be there in the. So the role of a market maker is basically that they provide liquidity. If someone existing shareholder wants to sell their shares, he will be under obligation to provide quote. Similarly, any new prospective investor wants to buy share of that company in the secondary market, who would have missed in the IPO, there would be a sell quote for them. So there will be counter quotes at any point of time with minimum bid ask spread specified. So there will be liquidity that will be ensured. So that is again, which is unique to this Emerge platform, which is not there on the mainboard platform. If you want to look at the post-listing compliance, here the requirement is in terms of half-yearly audited accounts for submission instead of quarterly in case of mainboard. So there the compliance requirement comes down by half. And also, in terms of saving in the cost, there is no need to publish these financial results on the newspapers. It can be published on the website of the company. That would do in case of Emerge company, whereas in case of mainboard, they have to publish in newspapers, which is, of course will have additional cost. The corporate governance norms are same as in case of mainboard because there is no negotiation in the corporate governance, whether it is a small or big companies or large companies. Migration, we discussed about it. Migration from SME to mainboard. So if any company who wants to grow big, and of course any company would like to grow big and want to go to the mainboard, after spending 2 years of listing on Emerge platform, they would become eligible to move on to the mainboard, subject to the fulfilling of conditions such as the market cap, the market capitalization of the company post-listing at the time of migration should be above 25 crores. And of course, in the AGM, it has to get approved, that decision of moving to the mainboard. So there are 122 companies which have already migrated out of 296 companies that are listed. In terms of the regulatory framework for the investors, there has to the minimum application size in the IPO is 1 lakh here, unlike on mainboard. Generally, there it will be 14 to 15,000. Here it is 1 lakh. The minimum trading lot also, if you want to buy or sell SME shares, company shares as an investor, that will be done in the bundle of 1 lakh rupees. So whatever stocks that would be required to create a 1 lakh lot size, that will be the trading lot. So that's a regulatory framework. Now, how a company can list on NSE Emerge, what is the process? The process is pretty simple. If you're interested or you want to explore, you can have interaction with NSE team for the initial discussion on understanding the entire framework. and also just to check, whether you are eligible and whether you meet the eligibility criteria. Then subsequently, once that is done, once you become eligible, then you start approaching with the appointment of intermediaries. Here, one of the important intermediary other than the corporate and the exchange is merchant banker. So merchant banker plays an anchor role here. I mean, in terms of key role here, in terms of filing the DRHP, connecting the company to other intermediaries such as RTA, bankers, depository, market makers, who are part of the entire process of NSE much. Then you move the merchant banker on behalf of the company would file a DRHP document with the exchange. Once the document is filed, NSE would do the due diligence. We would have our internal checks. Then if we found, if the company, if we find fit to move to the next level, then we give an in-principle approval. Once the in-principle approval received by the company, then they can open the IPO and subsequently list on the exchange. So once the company is listed, the company shares will be available for trading in the secondary market. So the process is pretty simple. Now, having understood the framework and what stage that you should be looking at, what are the regulatory guidelines, why one should list on NSE Emerge platform, and why do you why should you look at this particular platform at all? So if you look at the benefits, they are multifold. In fact, they're not just one. Sorry. So if there are any questions, I think you can key in your questions in the chat box, or during the Q&A session we can take up those. During the Q&A session we can address those queries. The way the organizers would like to kind of conduct the Q&A session, we'll keep it towards the end of the session. Well, so. Listing is one of the efficient forms of capital raising. This would have only one-time cost of raising the capital, unlike probably a loan or a debt where you need to kind of service the debt continuously, irrespective of the business cycles. Whether you're making profits or losses, you need to kind of pay interest. Here, once an investor invests into the company, it's like generally for the long term. Yeah. So the cost of raising that public equity would be just one time, and if you apportion that over a period of time, that's always would be more efficient. Irrespective of the size of the company, visibility is very much important. Whether you are a large company or a small company, in order to promote business, you need to have visibility in the market. So listing actually helps in gaining visibility in the market. That is in the form of once you file the document, once you file the DRHP, so this will be available on the exchange website and a lot of financial websites. Or the sector analysts would cover the stock, will talk about the stock, will talk about the company. So the IPO as a process, and also once you get listed, also whoever investors who are trading large cap stocks would also get to see in the same screen the company's name, sector analyst tracking. And this all actually provides a lot of visibility to the company as part of the process of listing. And also the credibility, once the company gets listed, it is considered to be securing a higher credibility score, because the company is governed by a regulator. So that is a perception that would be there. So that also actually helps. One is your visibility increases across the markets, and the credibility also gets established, because as part of the process of listing, you would have undergone a lot of corporate governance norms, and you would also have you're also expected to kind of disclose your publish your half-yearly reports, and subject to some compliance requirements, you are considered to be credible. So increased visibility along with credibility also helps in earning new clients and also expanding to the new geographies. We have use cases where corporates post-listing could actually venture into the global markets, because when you want to transact or initiate a relationship with the global players, when they do the due diligence, you as a supplier or a seller, they would see whether you are governed by any local entity. So which means that gives them some confidence to kind of initiate a relationship with you. So that helps you in earning new customers also. And listing also helps in arriving at appropriate valuations for the company, in terms of, if the company is not listed, whatever is there in the books, that is the valuation of the company. I mean, the face value would be the valuation of the shares. But once the company is listed, the fair valuation is discovered by the market participants, which is again dependent on the performance of the company. A good performance would be rewarded, and vice versa. So you would be able to see your appropriate valuations of the company once it gets listed. And this market also works on PE multiples. That is another advantage. And as part of the listing, one would also need to kind of adopt corporate governance norms, need to have boards in place, professional management in place. So this helps in long-term sustainability of the company. We've already discussed about migration to the main board. So getting listed on the main board, of course, we have seen there are expenses to it, and also the listing expenses in terms of the merchant bank expenses are relatively higher to an emerged platform. So listing on an emerged platform and gain experience of 2 years with the environment being a listed company, and migrating onto the main board at no additional cost is always an advantage for small and medium enterprises. We've already discussed about this liquidity, because there would be a market maker in all these SME companies, so who provides continuous entry and exit opportunities by being there. And also liquidity in terms of, if there is a debt, if you have taken a loan that comes with for a fixed period. In case of equity, it is perpetual equity. Till the time the company exists, the equity would exist. And each time different investors comes with different time horizon. It is not just for a particular period. So there will be perpetuity of investment that would be there. If some investor wants to exit, there will be somebody who would be entering into those shares. So you would have a perpetual equity, liquidity. And also once you are listed, then you can always go back to the markets and to raise further capital by FPO, follow-on public offer. After IPO, the subsequent issuances of shares for raising of funds is called FPO, and a lot of companies that are engaged in FPOs. So that actually opens the channels for that. Not only just that, once you're listed, like we've already got to know that the credibility score of you as a corporate would improve. The borrowing terms with the bankers on the existing loans also, you can, would improve to a greater extent. You might get additional lines, credit lines with the banks, and at a better rates, you being a listed entity. And a listed entity also provides an opportunity for mergers and acquisitions. It acts like a currency. So without affecting any cash flows, if you want to acquire a company, or you are looking at mergers, you can just work on share swiping ratios, just 1:2 or 2:1, things like that, instead of actually affecting any cash flows. This acts as an opportunity, opens gates for mergers and acquisition. One of the important things that SMEs challenges that SMEs face is also in terms of attracting and retaining high caliber employees, the talent from the market. But if you're a listed company, you would have seen companies, recruiters writing, if they're listed, they would say it's a listed company. That actually adds additional weightage for somebody to kind of look at that company to join. And also it helps in retaining high performing employees by issuing them stock options. So instead of probably affecting the cash flows, you can issue them stock options and can retain them. That also helps. Once you are listed, the shares takes the form of collateral. If it is not listed, the value is just as in how it is entered in the on the face value in the books. But once the company gets listed at the market value, these shares can take the form of collateral, and you can have additional rounds of funding from the banks based on the collaterals. So these are, it's not that these are the only advantages of being a listed company. There are many other advantages that also do accrue, but these are some of the things worth mentioning. In terms of, so this like I mentioned, this is a platform which is exclusively created to assist small and medium enterprises to raise capital. In order to create that awareness, of course, today's session is one such sessions. At NSE, we understand we need to take a lot of initiatives. These are just some of them. We have, we work closely with professional bodies. We work closely with industry associations, industry clusters, so that we can reach out to their members, can create awareness. We have also representatives, our colleagues across the locations, who spend time in creating awareness on this platform. There are focus group meetings that would happen where we also participate, and we also have strategic tie-ups in terms of MOUs with, as we speak, we have MOUs with 13 state governments, wherein the state governments also have floated a lot of schemes to encourage more and more SMEs to participate on the platform. Just to name a few, there are schemes such as, governments would take the subsidy, provide the subsidy in terms of the issue expenses to some percentage of the entire issue expenses. They also have, some of the state governments have created funds to participate as investors. Some of the state governments are working, collaborated with us in doing awareness programs across their DICs. And also we act as a feedback provider in terms of any regulations that would be required to accommodate or to channelize the feedback which would help the SME sector as a whole. We also introduced an index, SME Emerge Index. I'm sure all of you would be aware of Nifty 50. Nifty 50 reflects the performance of top 50 stocks listed on the exchange. Similarly, this NSE Emerge Index, it's a thematic index. It reflects the collective performance of the companies which are listed on NSE Emerge platform, and all those constituents who are eligible to be part of this index. As we speak, 122 companies are part of this index. So this index shows the collective performance of the companies who are listed. So what was their market cap at the time of listing, and as the days progress, how this market cap is actually growing. Market cap means market capitalization, the collective value of all those companies which are listed. So we have launched this index on November 2017 with the base date as December 1st, 2016 at a base value of 1,000. And as we speak, this is the index on December 30th was above 6,200 levels, which means 1,000 market cap, value of 1,000 market cap in 2016 over a period of 6 years have grown almost 6 times. Their collective wealth has grown 6 times. So this index actually is also reconstituted on a monthly basis. So we review the index constituents. This also instills confidence or fosters confidence that once a company gets listed on this platform, there are a lot of benefits that would accrue, whatever that we have seen so far, and also the many which we have, in fact, due to the paucity of time, not able to discuss today here. But this is very much beneficial to all those corporates who have listed here, and this is also for investors also. This provides a wonderful opportunity. If someone would have invested in any of this or in all these 122 stocks in 2017, or in 2017 there were no 122 stocks though, but the valuations would have gone almost 6 times higher. That is what it shows. So that brings to the end of my presentation. We have our office in Kochi. Anandu, so my colleague Mr. Anandu Shaji, who is also there present on this webinar. These are his coordinates. He takes care of the SMEs. He spends a lot of time in meeting SMEs and explaining them about the entire concept, because we still feel that the awareness level need to significantly go up. Today we have, as we speak, 296 companies listed, but the space is pretty large. We do understand that, and we are committed to do awareness sessions. If any one of you are interested in knowing about this particular concept and about this platform, his email ID and mobile numbers are there on the slide. You can reach out to them, or you can reach out to us through Kied as well, and we'll be more than happy to come and explain, have one-on-one meetings or group meetings, come to your offices and talk about this platform. The office address, we are there in MG Road itself. So that brings to the end of my presentation. If you have any of the queries, or we'll be more than happy to take them here. Thank you very much for your time.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
hello?
Sir. Hello.
Malappuram Damodaran.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Malayalam പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതിയോ?
മതി പറഞ്ഞോളൂ.
സാറ് പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ ഷെയർ മാർക്കറ്റിലേക്ക് SME-ന്റെ ഷെയർ ഇറങ്ങി 1 lakhന്റെ ഈ അസറ്റ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നതാണ്. അതോ മിനിമം 5 crore എത്ര വേണ്ടത്?
അല്ലല്ല സാർ, അങ്ങനല്ല. അസറ്റ് അല്ല പറയുന്നത്. 1 lakh എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത് മിനിമം SME കമ്പനീസ് ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ മിനിമം 1 lakhനുള്ള ഷെയർസ് ആണ് നമ്മൾ IPO ടൈമിൽ പർച്ചേസ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. അതുപോലെ ട്രേഡ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ മിനിമം 1 lakh എന്നുള്ള എമൗണ്ട് ഉള്ള ഷെയർ ആണ് ട്രേഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്നാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. നമുക്ക് മിനിമം 5 അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ ഇല്ല. നമുക്കൊരു എൻട്രി ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ ആണ് ഉള്ളത്. നമുക്ക് കമ്പനി പ്രോഫിറ്റ് ആയിരിക്കണം ലാസ്റ്റ് 3 years, 3 വർഷം എക്സിസ്റ്റൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം, കമ്പനി പ്രോഫിറ്റബിൾ ആയിരിക്കണം. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ക്രൈറ്റീരിയാസ് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ. അല്ലാതെ ഒരു സ്പെസിഫിക് ഒരു എത്ര അസറ്റ് ഉണ്ടാവണം അങ്ങനെ ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ ഇല്ല.
3 years എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉള്ള പ്രോഫിറ്റിലായിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന കമ്പനിക്ക് മാത്രമാണ് SME ഇതിൽ വരാൻ പറ്റില്ല, SMEക്കാണ് വരാൻ പറ്റുക.
അതെ, ഇപ്പൊ അതെ.
അപ്പൊ മിനിമം നമ്മൾ 1 lakh ഷെയർ നമ്മൾ ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യണം.
അങ്ങനെയല്ല, മിനിമം നമ്മുടെ ടോട്ടൽ ഷെയർ ഹോൾഡിങ്ങിന് 25% നമ്മൾ ഡൈല്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യണം. അങ്ങനെയാണ് പറയുന്നത്. 25% പബ്ലിക്കിന് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കണം, ഈ ഇഷ്യൂവിൽ കൊടുക്കണം. മിനിമം ഇഷ്യൂ കഴിയുമ്പോൾ 25%,
ബാക്കി 75% നമ്മൾ ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്യണം അല്ലേ?
പ്രൊമോട്ടർക്ക് ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്യാം വേണമെങ്കിൽ. 25 മിനിമം കൊടുക്കണം എന്നാണ്. എബോ 25 നമുക്ക് കൊടുക്കാം, മിനിമം 25 കൊടുക്കണം എന്നാണ്. പ്രൊമോട്ടർക്ക് ബാക്കി 75 വരെ ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്യാം.
ഓക്കെ, അപ്പൊ മിനിമം 1 lakh ഷെയർ ചെയ്ത് നമുക്ക് അപ്പൊ 1 lakh ആണ്, 25,000 ഷെയർ പുറത്തേക്ക് കൊടുത്താൽ മതി അല്ലേ? അപ്പൊ മിനിമം പർച്ചേസ് എത്ര ആവും? 25 ഒരാൾ എത്ര? അപ്പൊ 50 പ്രൊമോട്ടേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടല്ലേ, ഇൻവെസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അപ്പൊ 25,000 ഷെയർ അവർക്ക് കൊടുക്കാവുന്നതാണ്. മിനിമം 50 ഇൻവെസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് വേണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ.
50 ഇൻവെസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് എങ്കിലും ആ ഇഷ്യൂല് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും.
അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ഈ ഫേസ് വാല്യൂ 10 രൂപയിലല്ല സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുക?
ഇല്ല, ഫേസ് വാല്യൂ നമ്മൾ ഡിസൈഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണല്ലോ. 10 ആകാം, 1 ആകാം.
അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് പ്രീമിയം ചാർജ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമോ?
പ്രീമിയം ചാർജ് പറ്റും. നമ്മുടെ വാല്യുവേഷൻ അനുസരിച്ചിരിക്കും സാർ. നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന ഒരു വാല്യുവേഷൻ വെച്ചിട്ടായിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ പ്രീമിയം എത്രയാണ്, ഫേസ് വാല്യൂ എത്രയാണെന്ന് ഐഡന്റിഫൈ ചെയ്യും. ആ വാല്യുവേഷൻ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ പ്രൈസ് അറൈവ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു സാർ.
താങ്ക് യു.
ഹലോ സാർ, ഈ ന്യൂ ഫണ്ട് ഓഫറിനെ കുറിച്ച്, ന്യൂ ഫണ്ട് ഓഫർ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു സംഭവം നടക്കാറുണ്ട്. വൻകിട കമ്പനികൾ ന്യൂ ഫണ്ട് ഓഫേഴ്സ് ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അതിനെക്കുറിച്ചൊന്ന് വ്യക്തമാക്കിയാൽ കൊള്ളാമായിരുന്നു. നമുക്ക് അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് ഒരു പരിജ്ഞാനമില്ല. ഒരു ഫസ്റ്റ് ഹാൻഡ് ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ കിട്ടിയാൽ നല്ലതായിരുന്നു.
ന്യൂ ഫണ്ട് ഓഫർ സാർ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ച് മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട്സിന്റെ ഇതിലാണോ, NFO പോലുള്ളതാണോ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്, അതോ കമ്പനീസ് IPO പോകുന്നതാണോ സാർ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്?
ഈ ഇപ്പം വൻകിട കോർപ്പറേറ്റ് കമ്പനികൾ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, അവര് അവരുടെ പിന്നെ വികസന പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾക്കും മറ്റും ഫണ്ട് ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട്. അത് ഫണ്ട് കളക്ട് ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം അതിന്റെ ഒരു 5 yearsന് ഇയർലി നമുക്ക് അതിൽ ഫണ്ട് ഇടാം. ഓരോ വർഷവും നമുക്ക് ഒരു നിശ്ചിത എമൗണ്ട് ഇട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കാം. 5 വർഷം കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പിന്നെ നമുക്ക് അത് വിഡ്രോ ചെയ്യുക, അല്ലെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് ഗ്രോ ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി അലോ ചെയ്യാം.
പോലാണോ പറയുന്നത്? നമ്മുടെ ഡിബഞ്ചേഴ്സ് പോലെ കമ്പനീസ്, ഇപ്പൊ മുത്തൂറ്റൊക്കെ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചാൽ മുത്തൂറ്റ് അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കമ്പനീസ് ഒക്കെ ഡിബഞ്ചേഴ്സ് ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട്. അതാണോ സാർ ഉദ്ദേശം? ഫണ്ട് റേസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന മാർക്കറ്റിൽ നിന്ന്?
അതെ, മാർക്കറ്റിൽ നിന്നും ഫണ്ട് റേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അവർ വേണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവർ തന്നെ മറ്റു കമ്പനികളുടെ പിന്നെ ഇതിലേക്ക് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യും. ഈ ഷെയർ മാർക്കറ്റിൽ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഷെയർ മാർക്കറ്റിൽ നിന്ന് പ്രോഫിറ്റ് ഉണ്ടാക്കി ഈ നമ്മളെപ്പോലുള്ള ആളുകൾക്ക് തരും. അതാണ് എന്റെ ഒരു പരിമിതമായ അറിവ്. അപ്പൊ അത്
മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട്സ് ആണ് അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു കാറ്റഗറി ഉണ്ട്. അവര് നമ്മൾ സെബി ഓതറൈസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള നമുക്ക് വേണ്ടി ഫണ്ട് മാനേജ് ചെയ്യുന്നവരാണ് മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട്സ്. അവിടെ നമ്മൾ മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട്സ് ഒരു ഫണ്ട് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് അതിനകത്ത് നമ്മൾ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യും. ആ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത ഫണ്ട് അവർ പറയുന്ന ഒരു ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ അവർ പറയും, എങ്ങനെയാണ് ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ. ആ ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ വെച്ച് അവർ ഫണ്ട്സ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് സ്റ്റോക്ക് മാർക്കറ്റ് മാത്രമല്ല, സ്റ്റോക്ക് മാർക്കറ്റിലും കമ്മോഡിറ്റീസിലും ഡിപ്പെൻസ് ഓൺ ഫണ്ട്, ഏത് ഫണ്ട് പോലെ ഇരിക്കും. സ്റ്റോക്ക് മാർക്കറ്റിലും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഡെപ്റ്റിലും ഒക്കെ അവർ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് അതിൽ നിന്ന് നമുക്ക് റിട്ടേൺസ് എടുത്തു തരാൻ നോക്കും. മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട്സ് ആണ് ആ ഒരു സർവീസ് തരുന്നത്.
ഹലോ, ഗുഡ് ഈവനിങ്.
ഗുഡ് ഈവനിങ്.
ഓഡിബിൾ ആണല്ലോ?
അതെ സർ.
Myself Vijay Kumar. Sir, can you explain a little bit more about that term DRHP on IPO?
Gauri sir.
That regulatory framework, IPO and emerge, there is a mandate that DRHP in same format. So can you explain that DRHP a little bit more?
Yes. Can you hear me, sir? Hello? Can you hear me? Mr.
Sir,
Vijay
you're
Kumar?
audible, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yeah. So DRHP is the full form is Draft Red Herring Prospectus. So this is a offer document that all the corporates who wants to raise public equity need to file with either SEBI if it is main board listing, and with NSE if it is emerge listing, that is the SME emerge listing. So this is generally prepared by the merchant bankers. They would take a lot of information from you. This is a preliminary registration document. Basically, this would consist of a lot of things in it. So basically, this would clarify why the company wishes to raise money from the public, how many shares that they are going to issue to the public, what is going to be the face value of the share, and also it talks about the company's business in detail. It also would have the financials, the past performances of the company. This also would provide the risk disclosure documents. So basically what are the various risks that are there right now, or any litigations that are going on right now, which might crop up in future, and any other financial or business operations related information which are required for a investor, prospective investors, to know about the company, so that they can take the decision of investment based on that document. So this acts as a basic document for investors to take a decision on whether to invest or to subscribe in that IPO or not.
Thank you, sir. I got basic information on that. Thank you.
So,
Hello? Can you hear me? Am I audible?
yes.
Okay, thanks. Sir, actually, right now I'm a beginner in this business, and I'm a proprietor for a company,
Okay.
for a firm, like a manufacturing unit, basically.
Okay.
And I guess from a proprietorship, I have to convert this into a company. Correct?
Right.
So, what is the fundamental, basic requirement for converting that into a company?
So
I have to get registered under company's name.
So what happens is when you so once you decide to become a listed company, it has to be made a limited company to that extent in terms of the corporate restructuring. If you're a sole proprietor or a partnership today, how you can become a private company, then subsequently dropping that PVT limited and become a public company. This entire journey, merchant banker, whomever you appoint, would take up that role and do this help you in corporate restructuring in the entire process, because there is a well-laid process which is pretty exhaustive in terms of, there are processes, there are steps that are involved, such as, you have to issue capital, you have to file, with ROCs, of course, for the registration. You need to provide some documents, file with ROC, then bring that corporate governance into structure in terms of having a CFO, or some positions like that, and need to constitute a board, and need to have nominees as defined by ROCs and the ICDR regulations, and how basically you can become a public company. But all the merchant bankers are pretty much geared up, and then all such corporates who were earlier maybe a sole proprietor or a partnership, in the conversion process, they are very much well versed, and the process is pretty seamless. So the merchant banker, like I mentioned, is one of the important intermediary in this entire business who would be guiding you.
Okay. Thanks, GOURI, for this information, bit of information. But as an entrepreneur, as an SME, level, is there anything which we can get benefited from, listing ourselves, maybe like now I don't think, because the basic criteria which you have informed that minimum 3 years, of business plus it should be profitable. Then, obviously conversion from proprietorship to a company through a banker, any banker who can support
Merchant
on that
banker.
process. Merchant bank, yeah. So as of now, is there any benefit which we can, enable and get from an NSE currently, or if you have to wait for a company to grow for next 3 years and then go through the entire process what you have narrated now?
So you already have operational existence of 3 years, isn't it? As a proprietary
No, I
partnership.
just completed 1 year.
So for this emerge platform, you have to have 3 years of operational history. So that is one of the requirements
Okay.
of this platform. But
So people,
what you can do is, you can take guidance, in terms of you can start preparing for maybe for the third year.
Yes,
You will be fully prepared. You will have a structure in place,
correct,
and
correct.
would be approaching this much planned way than probably because the decision of listing also, it is very important that you have more transparent disclosure, so that and then the financials, everything is linked with what you show in the financials. That has to be clean, so that you can benefit from the valuations that you might get on the IPO front. If the books are
Super.
yeah.
Thank you.
So you will get
Gauri, one more.
good time.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Gauri, one more question on the query which is coming in mind. Is there a minimum level of is there a slab of a company turnover or a profit turnover which needs to be there while turning into company from a private proprietorship firm?
Okay, though there is no specified limit by the regulations, but if you see in the process of listing, we say 50 investors need to be there, minimum, and the minimum IPO lot size itself is 1 lakh. So at least 50 lakhs has to be the IPO value. That is one. So for any company, for any investors to invest, they need to see a growth in the business. You would be eligible to list, but people need to see for them whatever investment that they are doing, that need to grow. So basically, they see the business models also, how viable, how is the scope for the growth of this business if whatever that I'm investing. So generally, based on our experience, minimum 4 crores is what we have seen as an issue size. So by offering some 4 crores as an issue size on the minimum side, though that is not specified as a minimum issue size, but merchant bankers also to take it up, and whatever that subsequent expenses that could be associated. So people are looking at 10 crores and above turnover levels, though this is not a laid criteria, but merchant bankers' interest would be there if it is of a decent size, and also in a growing phase. So maybe around 10 crores of turnover and so.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Gauri.
Welcome.
So one more question. Is there any possibility for one-person company, OPC?
So as per the Companies Act, there has to be the minimum number of shareholders prescribed there, and for a public and for private, that need to be complied.
Okay.
A company's definition itself will have more than one, otherwise it becomes a sole proprietor. And when you are issuing equity to public, they are also would become the shareholders, though you would still have the say in terms of the decision making and the execution of the company, because you would be still holding 75% of the shares after diluting 25% of the stake, but still there would be at least 50 other participants, investors, who would have invested in your company once you're listed.
Okay.
Yeah, Gauri sir, one more question. So
So
when we compare with company that is listed in the main board and company that is listed in NSE emerge platform, from the secondary market perspective, are there any restrictions for the company listed on NSE emerge platform
restrictions in terms of any specific point that
in
you're
terms of
seeing?
buying and selling the
No,
shares?
there are no restrictions. The only difference from the investment viewpoint, that lot size, that if you want to buy a stock of an emerge listed company on the same platform, it has to be bought or sold in the multiples of 1 lakh. Suppose the value of the stock is 1,000 rupees, then you can buy either 100 shares or sell 100 shares at one go. You cannot sell 10 shares or 1 share like that. So whereas in case of main board, you can buy and sell 1 share, but here it has to be bought or sold in the multiple of 1 lakh.
Okay, sir.
So the minimum investment size itself becomes a differentiator. Otherwise, in terms of you accessing this platform, there's no problem. It is available in across all members on the same platform. Wherever you are getting the main board companies for investment, for buying and selling on the same platform, these are also available for trading. Just the trading lot would be different.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot. It's clear.
Good evening, Gauri. Can I ask?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, I just need some more clarity regarding all of the participants who are asked regarding the sole proprietorship or partnership. You see, something like that, that is a sole proprietor or an LLP or a partnership who are in this field for about 4 or 5 years, successfully running the business. And if they decide to list themselves on emerge, do they have to wait further 3 years, or they can do the restructuring part and straight away go for the listing?
They can do the restructuring part and can go for the listing, sir.
Excellent. And what would be the ballpark figure of in terms of cost for listing? Can you give some kind of an idea or an indicative figure?
Okay, that's a very good question. In fact, I was expecting that. So here, when you look at the costing from NSE side, it is basically, for us, it is the cost will not be more than 25,000-30,000. That's a listing expenses which is part of listing fees. Apart from this, there are expenses which you will have to pay to the merchant bankers for their services, such as DRHP filing, preparation and filing, market making, underwriting, because they would be underwriting. There is a 15% mandatory underwriting. Then fundraising, any road shows that they might do. There would be merchant banker charges, which would vary from merchant banker to merchant banker. There's no straight fixed one rate. It all depends on how much funds that you're probably raising, and also the level of, if there is any restructuring that need to be done. So it all depends on the services that you take, and also the merchant banker that you go with. So the list of merchant bankers is available both on SEBI as well as NSE websites. If you're interested, we can put you connect with multiple merchant bankers. You can pick and choose. We can facilitate that meetings. You can pick and choose based on what they are offering, what they're quoting, and also their past experience in terms of whatever IPOs that they have done so far. And this information is pretty much available in public domain and even on our website.
Okay.
So that keeps changing.
Yeah.
There's no fixed as such, but generally, based on what we have seen in past, anywhere, depending upon the issue size of, say, maybe for a 4 crores, 25 to 35 lakhs is what generally they charge. That is one time.
Okay, perfect. Very informative session and well explained. Thanks to you, Gauri, Anandu, and Kied. Excellent. Because actually there is a lot of potential within the Kerala market itself. And if that awareness is there, I'm 100% sure that many people can avail this facility or this opportunity rather. And they themselves can dream of going to the main board, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your feedback, sir. And we will be more than happy to kind of come to your offices and have these one-on-one sessions where we can have detailed discussions depending upon your questions.
Yeah,
Specific
sure.
to concern.
Sure, 100%. Because
I've
we are
also
actually
shared.
working with the startups and MSMEs, and we want to inculcate this habit, and we are trying to educate these MSMEs towards this. And it
It's
is
a great initiative, sir.
really heartening to know that you are also focusing on Kerala as a market itself. Thank you for that.
Anandu, are there any questions in the chat box which are not answered? We've already provided Anandu's mobile number there. Our office is in MG Road itself.
There are no questions in chat box.
Okay.
Not answered. Yeah. So anyone who requires any support related to SME listing, you can reach out to me. Sir has posted my mobile number over there. You can reach out to me. We'll be more than happy to support you in your listing.
Sir, any connect in Kerala where we can do, because as I said, I'm just an initiator, and after 3 years, maybe people may change, or I will not be able to connect you. It is possible. So any connect in Kerala where we can approach and get more details, small details from the office.
Sir, our office is in MG Road, Cochin MG Road,
okay.
Right opposite to Shimati, right next to the MG Road metro station. There's a building called Alapad Heritage. So our present office in Alapad Heritage. You can, I have posted my number. My name is Anandu. I posted my number in the chat session. You can always reach out to me.
Okay,
so,
great.
Any support you require, you can reach out to me.
Thank you, sir.
If you don't have any more questions, we can wind up the session.
Anyone have any questions or doubts?
Balance again.
What's the minimum capital paid up capital required for the company?
GOURI sir, one question. Like in your slides, when you're going through, there's slide number 7. Where you said currently there are 290 something, somewhere around companies which are listed currently. So it's a overall list of count which is there in India, which is listed in NSE.
Yes, 296 are the companies which are listed on NSE Emerge. Yes, overall India.
Overall India, that's very few, I guess.
Yes, I mean, looking at the number of SMEs that we have in India, that's very few. We understand that there's a lot of awareness initiatives that need to be done. We have been doing that. The first 5 years have been pretty slow. Last 5 years have been, this is where we see this thing coming up. And somebody asked about the minimum paid up capital for a company. It is basically 5 lakhs is what is specified, the minimum. But from for a formation of company, but from SME emerge listing viewpoint, we have not specified anything even less than 10 crores. Earlier, only if you are above 10 crores of paid up capital on the face value, then only we are able to kind of access the public equity or the main board platform. Now even corporates with less than 10 crores also now eligible. So all the companies, whichever is formed, as per the definition, if it is a company, they can access the SME emerge platform up to 25 crores of paid up capital. Hope I answered your question.
Yeah. So, like, I'm a little confused. Maybe I'm repeating the same question. Like, for example, after 3 years, if I am, trying to list my company into this NSE, what is the minimum level of profit which we need to show, or it has to be there? Again, it depends upon the merchant bank, or how they will guide us, or what is the
I
current,
would say, sir, I would say this way. One is the first thing is, merchant banker should be taking up the case, and second, an investor should be investing. It should be good enough for an investor to invest in your company. It should excite him to invest, because today he has 1,600 main board companies and already 292 companies already listed on Emerge platform. Instead of investing there, he's investing in your company. So for him, it has to sound appealing in terms of, that he should see a value in that. So there is no amount that I can assign to it to get that, that factor, an element. But based on, whatever is happening right now, I mean, I'm just taking up based on my interactions with merchant banker, what they say that they would be interested, because each merchant banker also, they see, if it is only above 10 crores, then I would take up the cases in terms of the turnover, or maybe some merchant banker says if it is about 20 crores, I will take up such cases, because for them, they need to invest almost 3 years again along with you, because there's a 3 years of market making, underwriting that they need to do. Merchant banker does underwriting, mandatory 15% underwriting, and 100% underwriting that he can do on his own or through some other intermediary. So in both the cases, if at all your company is not attracting enough subscription from the public, then he is the one who would remain as investor. So he would be keen on taking up good companies, which a merchant banker probably feels that that they can work with and make economic sense to them. Number one, and number two, a sizable business. So some people they have their own internal benchmarks. It's not that it's a stated or as a prescribed amount, but even a company with a 10 crores turnover and 2 crores of profit might interest a lot of merchant bankers, maybe, but with the 20 crores of turnover and probably a 25 lakh PAT may not interest a lot of people. So it all depends on merchant banker to merchant banker. But based on the company so far listed, or merchant bankers' expressions in various discussions, they look at somewhere around, a turnover of some 10 crores, or maybe 3.5 to 4 crores of IPO. So if I have to say 304 crores of IPO, if it equals to say 25% of the equity, it also means in around probably somewhere around 15 to 16 crores of valuations of the company, I mean, of that size, that they would be keen. But there is no restriction as such from the regulatory guidelines that, if you are a 2 crore turnover company or 3 crore turnover company, you cannot come to the platform in terms of the eligibility. But merchant bankers need to be having the interest to take this forward.
So thanks for that. So I will just break the process. So one is getting a consent of or the intention of merchant banker to support us in enrolling that with their interest first. Second, what you communicated is the investor should be keen into invest with respect to the company structure and the business structure, basically what is their turnover and all. So that will be the second step of getting the intent of investor to invest in this company. But first,
once the merchant banker takes it up, he is confident, then only he takes it up, sir. Generally, when a merchant banker means basically is representing investors.
So his investors, he's confident that he can get investors to invest in your company, then he takes it up. If he thinks that he cannot get investors into the business, if he takes it up, he will end up in being the only investor in your company.
Correct.
Because
I know.
he's
I got it.
100% underwriting.
So basically, bank will also support us in getting the investors initially.
Yes, they would do the roadshows for you. Yeah.
Super. Got it. Thank you.
Any more questions? In that case, actually, if you don't have any more questions, like, shall we wind up this session, sir?
Thank you, GOURI sir and the team, giving us this opportunity for having a good discussion. It was really a fruitful discussion for me and my colleagues who have joined this meeting. Thank you.
Thanks to you for giving us this opportunity to interact, and we are very happy to see the participation today. Thank you very much.
Right, sir. I mean, from Kied, actually, we would like to thank you a lot. It's indeed our privilege to have you here, GOURI Shankar sir, the big business development of the National Stock Exchange of India, Vice President and Head of South BD, Business Development. So actually, it was enlightening that actually the information what you have given regarding the process involved, the regulatory guidelines and all. Thank you a lot, sir. From the bottom of the heart of Kied, actually, we would like also to thank you the rest of the parties who already joined for this discussion.
Thank you very much. It's our privilege.
Right, sir. So we'll just end this meeting right now. Thank you.
Thank you.